So where do you get your seed? Right now, there are no certified sources of seed in the United States, and that there's an asterisk next to that. There is one company in the Midwest that is selling certified seed from Canada, but there is no US grown certified seed. It's not a big deal. It's pretty easy for us to import seeds right now. Now, let's talk about our three portions of the hemp industry. If you are growing for CBD, there is plenty of CBD seed to be had in the United States, but it's not certified. And therefore, it's a little bit like the Wild Wild West. You really don't know what you're getting. In the United States, we grow hemp for CBD the same way that we grow marijuana. We grow it in raised beds under plastic where we are starting the seeds in a greenhouse, and then we are transplanting them, and we're growing these big Christmas tree-like things that then have to be harvested, and there's a whole lot of labor in it, a whole lot of issues involved. And slowly that's changing. And the reason we're doing that is because every plant produces about 1.5 pounds of dry matter per plant, of dry flower material per plant. And the varieties that we're growing have somewhere between 10 and 15% CBD. And this past year, the average price for dry flower material was $3.50 per percent CBD per pound. And if you have somewhere between 1,700 and 2,000 plants per acre, you're talking about somewhere around $40,000 an acre.
It's as much as hops, just about.
And similarly to hops, it's as much labor,
Okay.
right? And so it really is just tremendous. This is not how the rest of the world is growing for CBD. In the rest of the world, if you go to European websites, their high CBD varieties have 3% CBD, not 15%. And they're planting them the way that we plant all of our field crops, and they're harvesting them with our large-scale machinery. And so instead of taking a crew of 20 people 14 hours to harvest 3 acres, right, one person is driving in their chopper and will harvest 100 acres in a day easily, right? So there's a different scale there, and there's going to be a price point where the value of the CBD has come down enough to make it so that that is the way that we're going to grow here, and we're starting to see that happen already. The difference in price also comes down to seed, where if you're buying the feminized seed that you're going to grow like a Christmas tree, you're going to pay on average $1 a seed unless you are purchasing in large bulk, at which point you might pay 75 cents per seed. When you are buying the high CBD varieties from Europe, I have one that I think I have the, not yet, I have the tracking, it's en route, it should be here soon. Well, but in my presentation, I have a FedEx tracking of where my seed is. It should be like my European high CBD seed is here somewhere. It's just left Prague. And that had, it's supposed to have 3% CBD, and that was $17.50 for a pound, right? So for a few thousand seeds. So it's really different when it comes to the price. You're also going from planting 1,700 plants to 2,000 plants per acre to somewhere around, depending on, well, we'll get there, but either 25 pounds of seed per acre to 40 pounds of seed per acre. Really, when it comes to seed, you're cutting your seed cost in half, right? Which is significant when you're talking about a few $1,000s. Okay, so as of now, if you are looking to grow for grain and fiber, you're sourcing from outside of the US, you're sourcing from Canada, you're sourcing from Western Europe or Eastern Europe. Some are going to China. It's not as common. Korea also grows a lot of hemp, but they are not breeding seed right now, so that's not a place that we're sourcing seed.
Does the seed ever run out? Do you ever try to buy it and there's none?
Oh yeah. So I try to start, like if you just got your license today and you tried to source seed, you'd be getting the bottom of the barrel. Most places are out.
Okay.
right? The high CBD seeds have been out for a while. Finding people, you're in nooks and crannies right now, finding people to source high CBD seed, and those are the places where you're paying $1 a seed, and they tell you it's feminized, but maybe it's not,
Okay.
right? And there's no certification.
There's
So,
always a scam around this plant.
and there's a lot of scams around the high CBD crop. There in Colorado right now, there are lots of marijuana growers that are leaving marijuana for CBD production because it's more lucrative.
Wow.
Right, and so there's a whole lot of scam around it. You need to be really careful and work with folks who are not just reputable, but you have references for, that you know, okay, I know that this person grew with them last year, and that's a reputable source. So some of the companies that I've worked with, on the next slide, are Uniseeds and Hemp Genetics International are two large Canadian seed companies for grain and fiber varieties. iHemp Farms and HempPoint are both Eastern European companies that I love the iHemp Farms website. They break down the information for every one of their seed varieties. So the iHemp Farms, and this slide, each of those are links to their websites. There are lots of other companies to buy from. I wanted to give you some examples of places. One of the things that I love about iHemp Farms is that if you click on a seed variety, it brings you up a data table that tells you the days to germination. It tells you the average seed size. It tells you the average THC and CBD content. It breaks down the average yield, the average fiber variety, the average fiber yield, so seed yield, fiber yield separated by bast and hurd. I mean, they have a tremendous amount of data about all of their seed varieties. And what I love about it is that just like you can buy the similar varieties from multiple companies for any crop, I can then look up the information that they have for those varieties, and then if they are out of it, I can find it elsewhere. So they are a great source of information about the details of your seed.
On your website?
It's not, but I don't mind.
I'll put it on the website.
Yeah, I don't mind sharing my slides with Aiden, and so by all means, you can.
I'll put information from the slides on. Okay.
Yeah, and so they're just good links to these. I don't want to sound like I am saying buy from these companies, right? These are just the companies that I have worked with. There are others. I particularly like the amount of information that you can learn from iHemp Farms. I didn't get to buy from them this year. By the time that I was working with them in February, they were out of all of the varieties that I was interested in. So you need to source your seeds to be sure that you're going to get what you want. I was working with a bunch of these companies in November and saying, this is what I want to grow.
Buy a year in advance, just place an order now for next year?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, no, and so things become difficult though, right? So this has been a ridiculous growing season already, right? We had this horrible growing season last year, and we said next year is going to be different. Yeah, it's worse. And so it's been colder, it's been wetter. And so at SUNY Morrisville, we had bought our corn seed. And we bought 120-day seed, thinking we were going to be able to plant by this day. Well, we went and turned that in for 100-day seed, right? Thinking we're going to be able to plant by this day, right? Then we went and turned it in for 90-day seed, right? We had to completely change our genetics of what we are growing because of this growing season. And so that's one of the, I don't want to say scary parts, but that's one of the pieces of hemp seed sourcing right now, is that if all were well and perfect in the world, this is what I would want, right? But that's not the growing season that we've been having. So now we can talk a little bit about actually growing hemp. So this was yesterday. My shipment is supposed to be here on Thursday, but it's still stuck somewhere in Prague. And so what I wanted to tell you was this is the easiest I've ever had of getting seed. So in the past 3 years, the seed has always sat in customs for somewhere between 1.5 to 3 weeks, right? So they ship, it gets to the border, and it just sits, and I twiddle my thumbs and wait. And so I've been freaking out because I knew that my seed that was coming from Canada, they weren't going to have everything for me in their warehouse until May 25th. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to plant until the 15th of June. This is horrible. What's going on? Oh no, oh no. Yeah, I got it on Thursday. It was unbelievable. It took 4 days from when they shipped it to when I had it, because there's no more DEA restrictions. There's no DEA license required anymore. So in January, so we had a DEA license for importing the seed, and in January it was going to be up. And so I was working with all the DEA agents in Syracuse and in Albany and in DC, trying to figure out, like, do I need to renew my license? And if we go back to a couple minutes ago, this was during the government shutdown, so no one could actually answer any questions. And it turned out they got back to us and said, nope, you're all good. We're done with it. We're not going anywhere near it. And so this was so smooth. This is a great time to be importing seed. So I'm only a little bit frightened.